This is part B of the Kudila television channel, broadcasting on the internet under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto editions. This edition is timed at 1100 hours GMT in London, UK, Monday, the 20th of May 2024. This is being broadcast about the same time as the main contents of the inquiry report into the contaminated blood used by the NHS over 20 years is the contents being published now, right now. Well, they have been being published for the last 1 week or so under embargoes, and informally, the facts have been published already. Now, this is reminding observers of the absence of accountability by the United Kingdom states, agencies, state agencies, especially in this context, the depraved DEFRA department, a department of the United Kingdom government. The DEFRA issued intentionally, deliberately, intentionally over a period, absolute lies about Baby Angel Geronimo. Contrasted with that, this claim being made in the report of the inquiry into the contaminated blood use in the NHS is saying that this essentially wasn't intentional. But what's the difference? The various versions of the facts about the corruption by the post office, in the post office, the decisions that were actually made to harass, to defame, to demonize hundreds of innocent postmistresses and postmasters. And hundreds of them were prosecuted on false claims made by the post office. And the post office inquiry has heard that most of the prosecutions and most of the actual demonization claims made against the targeted postmistresses and postmasters were known, intentional. And despite the fact that all these evidences are emerging, including in the last, over the weekend, the report that Paula Van Els was the chief executive, was producing or had produced or made available to the inquiry or made available in public the number of documents that she had withheld previously. So the culture that dominates, prevails in England because of the numerical majority of the English demography in the United Kingdom, is a culture of corruption, of intentional lies, of essentially congenital lies, regardless of whether it is intentional or not. The inquiry into the COVID pandemic also revealed the same thing, and it has been established that more than 10 billion pounds have been stolen, intentionally stolen. The theft of the 10 billion pounds worth has been allowed to be stolen. Stolen mainly by so-called businesses, entrepreneurs, service providers, who on the whole have been essentially mates, chums, colleagues, and supporters of conservative members of parliament and conservative government ministers, and have been donors to the Conservative Party. So the United Kingdom is a corrupt, unfit for purpose state. Taking all the evidence being presented of the corruption, post office inquiry, the COVID 19 and the negligence, residency, so-called care home, that the holder of the post of Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was boasting of the fact that hundreds of thousands of residents, mainly older people, were dying, and he was encouraging an atmosphere to be maintained for the elderly, to be denied the care and the support and the treatments. Let the bodies pile high. One of the expressions that has been attributed, quoted as being uttered by Boris Johnson, tested and checked against objective standards and criteria of accountability, the United Kingdom is sunk, and it is sinking every minute, every second. There are literally thousands, still now, the thousands of international treaties, agreements, conventions, ratified agreements, treaties, conventions, ratified by the United Kingdom, international treaties, of conventions, and agreements and declarations, which the United Kingdom, because of the ratification, is obliged to observe. If those were observed, then the people affected would have been saved and protected, but they are being disregarded, not observed. And there is a continuous commentary, running commentary being maintained by the main populist media, especially the Daily Mail and the Sun, that are used to demonize, to degrade some of the most fundamental international constitutional instruments that would have saved people and would have protected people. Initiated by government ministers, government departments and members of parliament, is of course the Human Rights Treaty, Human Rights Code, Human Rights Conventions. So the appearance of the concept of we want justice in various placards that are being shown around the time of the publication of this report about the contaminated blood. It is very odd indeed. There is no justice in the United Kingdom. There is no inherent built-in justice in the United Kingdom Constitution. And the series of judges that actually acted as the rubber stamps for the depraved DEFRA and demonizing and giving apparent legitimacy to the lies against baby angel Geronimo. They approve the absence of any concept of justice in any part of the United Kingdom Constitution. We shall be ending this bulletin 11 minutes long at 10:49 hours GMT. This is part 2 or part B of the bulletin today, dated the 20th of May 2024, and we shall continue accordingly.